Peter Thiel's dick, you asshole!
What the fuck? Who does this?
Jesus loves you, man.
Gee.
Like, what is the point of like someone saying Jesus loves you, man? Like, I don't get what's the point of doing something like that. I just don't get it. Why do people say that? Like, at their enemies, like, what the fuck? Like, what is that supposed to do? It's just like you might as well just say fuck you back. I don't know. It's just like, what are they trying to accomplish?
Jesus.
I mean, I'm assuming the person who said Jesus loves you is like a counter protester, right? I can't imagine a protester against Trump saying something like that. Yeah. Like, that has to be a counter protester. What part of this show's undeveloped implies that this is a third world country? That's just the editor doing editor things, to be fair.
Well, eventually right-wing people will start doing this to left-wing people too. And that's going to be pretty bad. Again,
I mean, it's kind of already happened, right? Like, if we're talking about Westboro Baptist Church, isn't that what they kind of have been doing for decades at this point? No? Yeah. Like, hasn't that been the meme this entire time? Like,
these people, they
yeah.
think that they are completely justified in doing this. And whenever this happens,
Also, what are you talking about? Like, wasn't Charlottesville a thing? Wasn't neo-Nazi rallies a thing? Wasn't KKK rallies a thing? Like, is this not something that happens all the time when people talk about all of the, like, I don't get like what the fuck dude, he's just like, so I can't believe how how low effort all of this is. Like, he's not even like thinking past the second grade level when it comes to associations and such. He's like, oh yeah, just wait until right-wing people does it. They've already been doing it. Okay?
This is literally your viewer. Maybe it was. It sounds like something that I would say, to be fair. They need to call ICE on that crowd? Well, no, these are just random ass people, right? Can't wait for it. Yeah, it's intimidation with the intent to terrorize is terrorism. They need to be arrested. Well, I don't know about that, but I think that it does say a lot if you need to have police there to protect people, because they would be violent if they had the opportunity to. In my opinion,
bro, there is police everywhere, but that doesn't necessarily. There's a policeman on campus grounds when I was in high school, but that doesn't mean that violence is at a high possibility. What? There's cops all over the place because of they need to have someone just in case the worst of the worst actually happens, right? I mean, obviously a protest has like a way higher chance of something happening, right? But just because a cop is there doesn't mean that violence is like going to erupt at any possible second, right? Like, I don't know, it's just so silly. Like, this is such a silly way to look at things.
And like, I know this might sound kind of bad, but if I was the people running this, I would just simply let some violence occur, and then I would just arrest everybody that was doing it.
Okay, cool. Based, just unironic fascism. Let's go.
That's what I would do. And like, you might say, oh yeah, but somebody might get hurt. Yeah, that's true, but it'll be for a greater good. It'll be for a greater good. Yeah, you gotta.
I wonder how Asmongold feels about like being an unironic communist. I wonder how he feels about being pro USSR. A pro-commie, okay? Just arrest anyone who is thinking the wrong way, do the Stalin thing of disappearing people, do the Stalin thing of like arresting anybody that you don't agree with, throw them into the fucking... See, the problem is that everyone thinks of the USSR as like this like far left kind of, environment, right? When that's like far from the truth. When it comes to the USSR, like, they are just fascistic, right? They're fascistic in so many ways. What you're just proposing is just in line with the USSR and what Nazi Germany did. Like, whatever, man. You want to come up with reasons to arrest somebody because they are just thinking the wrong way? I mean, fine. I mean, to be fair, like, anybody who starts violence, yeah, absolutely, arrest them. Like, what the fuck? You shouldn't be fucking doing that. But, like, the fact that, like, what it sounds like here is that he wants violence to happen in the first place, right? Which is just about the most right-wing thing you can say. Okay, to be fair. Like, I thought about it for a little bit, and I'm like, you know what? Wanting violence to happen is just about the most right-wing thing you can want, okay? Yeah.
to arrest these people, because the only reason why they're not being violent is because the police are there that are stopping them from doing it. Okay, and that's it. That's why we need to be violent back.
That's not true. I don't think police has ever prevented. Like I'm pretty sure there is some minor deterrence that happens when there's cops at a protest, and that's why it doesn't turn violent. But there are plenty of examples in which cops have been at protests and it turns into a riot anyway. Just look at any of the George Floyd like fucking protests, right? Just because cops are there doesn't mean that things do not turn violent. Like if anything, sometimes cops being there does instigate acts of violence that could escalate to greater shit happening, right? People throwing rocks at cops, people throwing shit at cops and shit like that. It could raise the tensions depending on how you're like deploying the police, right? When like if you're sending in the police in a way where they are being hyper aggressive and hyper like trying to clear the zone or something like that, that could like cause an entire like fight to occur, obviously, right? But no, I you know what? Sorry, I'm saying this for you guys, okay? I'm not saying this because, listen, okay, Asmongold absolutely understands all of these concepts, but he's just intentionally like turning down his IQ whenever he's looking at shit like this.
I agree with you about that. I think that if somebody is violent to you, you have every right to be violent back. You do. You have every right to be violent back. Like if somebody hits you, you have the right to do whatever you want to them. Nobody should have to live in a world where they're violently abused. It doesn't matter what it is or anything like that. That looks pretty violent. Well, yelling is different than actually touching, right? That's what I would say. Defend yourself. And yeah, it's that simple. It's the same thing happening in
Defend yourself against words, okay? Stop. These words hurt my feelings.
Texas. Do you think we're heading towards civil war? No, I don't think so. I think the handful of people that do this is really an underestimation. I think that most people that see this, you have like a couple hundred people that come out.
Why do people even think that we're going to go to civil war if anything does happen? This is a delusion, okay? There is going to be no civil war. It's just going to be genocide, all right? Because there's no way you can cut up the territories right now, and there's no way in which you can say like, oh yeah, anything the citizenry can do can like prevent the eventual like invasion of the United States military or some shit. Like can actually do anything against that. Like I'm sorry, it's just if we go to war, there wouldn't be a war. Okay?
For an event, and you act like you're going to have a civil war. I don't really think that's the case at all. It's not. Yeah, it's not even remotely close. Like a lot of these, like really.
Like where do you draw the lines? Where do you draw the lines for the territories? Like territory against territory. Where do you draw the lines? Yeah, it means you can't beat the nukes and drones. I'm not worried about nukes. I'm worried about drones. Sure.
Fringe extreme political beliefs, and this goes on both sides. They're quite common, but they're not enough to.
If you want to nuke the land that you're eventually going to conquer or like retake, feel free to, okay? But I just want to say that it's your fault if you turn that place into another Chernobyl, and nobody can inhabit that space and nobody can turn that land into factory land for like the next like fucking 200 years, and you have to handle all the radiation cleanup. Okay, good luck.
To where it's like there's going to be an actual war fought over this. And also really the difference, we're never going to have another civil war because the military, unless the military gets divided, the difference between, so whenever you looked at, let me go ahead and explain why we're never going to have another civil war. Okay. So
why
this is let's say the Revolutionary War, right? So the Revolutionary War, let's say the red was the, that was the Americans. Actually, well, no, I guess actually that's probably a bad way to say it because the redcoats. Okay, so let's say the red was the British. Okay.
I don't even know what
these
to
are
say.
like, let's say power levels. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is a Revolutionary War, and this is the power level compared to like the British versus the Americans, right? So the British are stronger, but the Americans still have a reasonable force, okay? You can see that as well. And then you go and you look at, let's say, the Civil War, okay? So the Civil War was about the same thing, where the Union obviously had different federal advantages that the Confederacy did not have, but the Confederacy still had a chance in winning. A Civil War now, unless you have the fractured military, it would be like this. It's not even remotely close. The government has powers and weapons and tools and resources.
Okay, someone doesn't understand warfare. Someone doesn't understand warfare in the 21st century. Yeah. If Asmongold is so, I don't know, if Asmongold is so pro-Ukraine, anti-Putin, he would also understand that, like, I think this was the prior misconception when it came to warfare, is that today, like, I'm sorry, before Russia truly invaded Ukraine, before Russia did that, I think everybody perceived warfare to be very one-sided, right? Everybody thought that Russia was going to take Kyiv in like 3 days, right? 3 days flat. Everybody thought like X and Y. But look at how things actually play out, even if you had the far superior technology, right? Guerrilla warfare and a war of attrition, trying to skirmish around the edges, no longer charging at the battlefield. There's no such thing as charging on the battlefield anymore. This is no longer a thing, right? Charging on the battlefield is no longer a thing. This is not a thing anymore. Like, people just do not do that. Instead, people will try to skirmish and skirt around and launch surprise attacks because that's effective. The lesser force will always try to launch terrorist-like attacks and plant booby traps and do all this crazy different tactics in order to counter forces with far greater technology and money. Like, this is a thing that's been. Why do you think we're not able to stay in Afghanistan, right? Why do you think we're not able to keep the government there stable without our help, right? Like, it's just not. It's not possible. It's just, right? Like, people have perfected the art of warfare when you're going to war against a far superior force. Look at Ukraine, right? Ukraine has far more resources than the Taliban, but the way that they conduct warfare is like they made things as difficult as possible for the Russians, right? They made things as difficult as possible for the Russians. It's just, yeah. The Russians severely got destroyed, like, in over the course of the Ukrainian war. But yeah, look at what Hamas has done. Yeah, Hamas is another amazing example. Yeah, Hamas doing terroristic attacks and doing guerrilla warfare and doing sneaky shit and being inventive with like materials and shit like that. Dude, that shit is like, bro, against a far superior force, right? Even then, how did they manage to? I don't know. It's just
That people
like this is just someone who just doesn't understand how modern warfare works, not the video game.
cannot even dream of. You don't. There's never going to be another civil war. You can't fight the military.
What Asmongold is referring to is if both armies like faced each other on the battlefield. This is what Asmongold is talking about, but that's not how modern warfare works. None of it works like that anymore. There's no civilian militia on the plains facing the American militia on the plains. That's not something that's not a thing, right? Like, that's not a thing anymore. Yeah, there's no militia facing each other on the battlefield. That's not a thing. Yeah, that's a very outdated form of warfare.
Yeah, they've got space lasers. They've got satellites that are orbiting the Earth that can figure out where you are.
Sure.
Like, it would be over in like a week, if that. Yeah, everyone has guns, every man for himself. It doesn't matter. Everybody has guns. Do you really think that you having a gun is going to stop? Like, what do you think happens when a bunch of armed guys that are trained, and also they're not going to be breaking into a house, just because you have a gun? Like, this doesn't mean that you're going to just somehow fight off, a trained military. You're going to be done, man. It doesn't work like that. Military doesn't shoot people. Of course they do. Absolutely they would. No, if we had a civil war, the military would be shooting people constantly. But do you really think that, oh, well, no.
Yeah, even with how strong, like, the tunnels. I mean, just ask American participation in the Vietnam War, right? Like, that is another great example of the Viet Cong using tunnels, right? The Viet Cong used tunnels that could not be collapsed with rockets or bombs. Um, yeah, and guess what? We lost that war, right? We lost that war. We lost the war in Vietnam. Okay, we didn't win it. We lost that war.
Oh, it
Yeah.
says that you're not supposed to do that. Yeah, it's a war. What the hell do you expect? Yeah, there'll be factions, of course.
They
If
won.
there's a threat, yeah, exactly.
It's over. We're cooked.
And not citizens, though. I think that if a civil war broke out, the military would be shooting civilians instantaneously. It would not even take a day. It would not even take a day. The moment that you had civilians shooting at the military or doing anything to oppose them, they would start shooting them instantly. That's it.
Sure.
I don't know. Yeah, go stop attack. What are you going to do, right? And they're not going to
Technically,
nuke
we didn't
American
lose.
cities. Of course
Sure.
not. No, why would they need to use a nuke? Obviously not. So yeah, I don't know what's wrong with these people. And let's see if I can find a UK Berkeley. I'll see if there's any more videos of this. I don't really think that there's a whole lot more of them. So yeah, is there any more of these posts here? People crying. Oh, hey, here we go. Okay. Oh, damn. Look at him. Look at him go.
We just keep saying we, but ain't she Canadian? No. I'm Californian. I live in the United States. I'm an American citizen.
Go. What is he doing? What is he doing? Oh my God. Look at this guy. Oh, fuck. And terrorism always maintain its status quo in a country would be deemed expendable? Yeah, of course. You're underestimating the power of guerrilla warfare. I think that you're underestimating the power of technology. Oh, geez. Yeah, I mean, again, I think they've got to be on top of these people a lot faster. Stop going full retard? Yeah. They got to be on top. Because the moment that you let this happen... Oh, is this another one? Oh, my God.
Break it up! Break it up! Police! Break it up! Police! Break it up! Break it up!
It's going to be crazy whenever people start bringing guns to these things. Because it's going to happen.
If they had brought guns, they would have already brought guns, or they would have already brought guns, or they're never bringing guns, okay? Because there's plenty of, because people have brought guns to protests, okay? This has happened. It's not like this is a new thing. Literally said that if they went with USA, that they would get cooked so fast before they could launch their best missiles, Wildman. Wait, what? Who?
It's going to happen. People will eventually start bringing knives and guns to these events. And I think that the only places, I bet probably this kind of stuff will probably not happen as much in right to carry and concealed carry states. I've just got a feeling that it probably won't happen as often.
What? Okay. So for Charlottesville, where the far right wing Unite the Right rallies happened, that's a concealed carry state. Virginia is a concealed carry state. The reason why this stuff doesn't happen as much in right wing places is because Trump is sending the military and sending ICE specifically more into left wing cities, right? If that makes sense. So Asmongold is drawing a false correlation here, right? Because typically the same places that forbid guns in public are the same places. Also, wait, hold on. Isn't California concealed carry? Yes. California has concealed carry. You really? Bro, he's actually so stupid, dude. He's actually so Ugh. I can't believe like he's saying any of this. I just can't believe he's so retarded. He's so retarded. Like he actually doesn't know what he's like just pulling shit out of his ass, dude. California is a concealed carry state. What the
And I wonder why.
hello?
How
Yeah, me
technology helped
too.
in
I wonder
Afghanistan
why.
or Iraq? Well,
And then nobody corrects them. Those are red states. Okay, that's okay. See, this person brings up a good point. Okay, these are red states. Okay, obviously, people in red states are not going to be protesting a red government. That's silly. Okay,
it helped us stay there for 20 years. That way we could maximize the most efficient way for us to sap and steal enough money from the taxpayers to reallocate it to the military industrial complex and the amount of people.
I guess it's harder there though. I can get in Seattle day. Yeah, but that's still concealed carry. That's still concealed carry, right? It doesn't make it any less concealed carry.
That were there. Do you really think that
I thought all states allowed concealed carry of some form. I think so. If California allows it, then yeah, I assume that all states allow it. It's just that you need a license, but you need a license everywhere, right? I think you need a license in a large number of states. Which states are concealed carry no permits? Okay, yeah, it's a bunch of right-wing states. Oh, Vermont. Vermont is not Vermont is permitless. Yeah, but Vermont is not a right-wing thing, right? Yeah, it's all the right-wing fucking states. Okay.
we couldn't have won
That
that
makes
war
sense.
in like a year? Fuck no, of course
Most
we
of the
could have.
South? Yeah,
The
most of the
reason
South.
why it happened is because we didn't try to win.
Bernie state, yes. But I think that one is like an outlier.
We weren't trying to win the war. We were trying to win the hearts and the minds of the people. You're not going to win the hearts and the minds of the people whenever you're occupying their country. Just get the fuck out of there. Bomb them and then leave. Vietnam. Yeah, Vietnam total thing. Yeah, it's the same thing in Vietnam. We were trying to help the South Vietnamese fight back against the North Vietnamese.
Didn't that one count as a satellite war? Because like our hearts wasn't in it for the Vietnamese. It was because we were trying to stop the spread of communism. I don't know. Like this shit is. Hold on. Why did we go to war with Vietnam? Lyndon B. Johnson committed U.S. ground troops and launched a sustained bombing campaign. The escalation followed the. Why? Why is there a sustained? For the full-scale American involvement. The commitment of ground troops began with the landing of Marines at Da Nang. The sustained bombing campaign, known as Operation Rolling Thunder. U.S. involvement ended with the signing of the Paris Peace Accords. Good one. Losers. Wait. Yeah, why the fuck were we fighting there in the first place? What the fuck? What? Why was there escalation? What the? Okay, whatever. I can't even find. I can't even find like a valid reason why we went to war. What the fuck? Okay.
Oh, God. Oh. Oh. People do this because they don't go to jail for it. That's the reason why it happens. And I think that really, why are you so against military-industrial complex? Make it sound like such a waste of money. What I understand, it brings USA astronomical earnings. Yeah, we make a lot of money from the military, but we also spend a lot of money on the military, right? It's like a human centipede. And also, it's because, I don't know if I can really show the blood.
Jesus.
Yeah. Oh. See, the problem is, like, somebody like this should go to, like, in my opinion, I think you just put a person like this in jail for 10 years. That's it. You just put him in.
What? 10 years for the fuck? 10 years for getting into a fist fight with somebody at an escalated protest? Dude, that's so crazy, dude.
In jail for 10 years. And then the problem goes away. And I feel like the reason why this happens is that 15, yeah, sure. I mean, right? I mean, whatever you want to say. He'll be at the same day. Yeah, the reason why this happens is because people like this are able to do it and get away with it. And If they knew that they were going to get shot, if they knew they were going to go...
No, false. The reason why he's wrong here is that deterrence isn't a real thing that is as effective as people think it is. People think deterrence is super effective, but in reality, when people commit crimes and when people do things, typically in the vast majority of crimes, it will always be as a result of opportunity. It is opportunity. Okay? Yeah, people still murder. Here, I think the defeater for this argument is if medieval torture was a thing in the past, why is it the case that people still did crazy shit in the past, right? When the consequences were far more extreme. Why did people steal in the past when you could be locked up in the stocks and die there or something, right? Like there's just so many... Punishment was way more severe in the past, and crimes were more often in the past. But nowadays, crime is less often and punishments are less often, are less severe, right? So you kind of have to ask yourself, like, well, is it like correlated or inversely correlated, or yeah, to stop the spread of communism? Oh, okay, yeah, okay, that's what I thought, because I've the last time I remembered about the Vietnam War, it was like about the USSR and how they were operating satellite like states and shit. But yeah, deterrence doesn't work well. Case in point, capital punishment. I rest my case. Yeah, that too, right? That too.
Prison. Yes. If they knew that they would experience...
No, but they know. Right? That's the thing. The way that you avoid these kinds of situations is by just completely not having the situation in the first place, by having crazy policies that people feel like they need to take to the streets for, right? If the government was actually doing a good job, people wouldn't feel like they would need to take to the streets, right? That's one such reason. Another reason is like if police antagonizing protesters or doing crazy shit also does not help. Okay? And yeah, I don't even think going to jail and then like going to prison and then getting released later on like wouldn't stop someone from reoffending either. So there's so many reasons why like this deterrence, knowing that you're going to go to prison for such a long time, does not work. Like this shit just simply does not work. I'm sorry. There's going to be plenty of people who do not show up for protests anymore if you do something like that. But I'm just saying it will not stop people in the end. Because otherwise, why would people protest in Iran? Wait, hold on. This is such a good example. Why would women protest for women's rights in Middle Eastern countries when they know that they're going to die? Wait, yeah, that's such a big defeater for his argument. Why did people protest in Euromaidan against the Ukrainian Russian sock puppet president there if they knew that there was a possibility of them being locked up by the KGB? Like, yeah, people protest anyway, right? When things are not working or they're displeased with something. And yeah, you would ally yourself with the Chinese, not really the Vietnamese has fought the Chinese and the Japanese. Oh, okay.
Dramatic, serious consequences, they would never even dream of doing something like this. The reason why they do it is because they know that they can get away with it. And I feel like I say this a lot, but really cooler heads prevail whenever there is a set of authority that holds people to accountability. You'll always have that happen.
Give me your other hand. Give me your other hand.
Yep.
Can you please move away from people? What's that?
Do you want to tell us what happened?
Your Maidan, you mean the USA back coup? Exactly. Yes, the CIA infiltrated coup.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep, that's what it is. And OF us, the dude with the red shirt said something
hello,
antagonizing or racist to the person, so he pushed back. Well, if you antagonize or you say something racist and then somebody hits you, the person that hits you should go to jail. You don't get to just hit people because they say something that makes you mad.
I agree with that. I agree with that. With that being said, I believe that Asmongold directly contradicts this because I think at an ICE facility when they were protesting there, the protesters at the ICE facility in a video that I think that Asmongold watched was that they were saying shoot ICE, shoot ICE. They were chanting shoot ICE, shoot ICE, shoot ICE. That's what they were chanting, okay? There was no real indication that they were going to escalate the violence, I think, but that's what they were chanting. And I think Asmongold said, "Oh, I think you should shoot them." That's what he said. He said you should be willing to shoot these people. You should shoot them. You should start pulling the trigger. You just start laying upon the crowd guns, like guns, like fucking all firing, like a firing squad. Okay. Even though they were just chanting shoot ICE. So antagonizing, provoking. I mean, if we're gonna apply Asmongold standards there, I mean, he's just being hypocritical, right? But yeah.
That's not what happens. That's not how it works. Like, that's not the way that
ICE has already shot at people. Yeah, sure. But I'm also talking about like that specific scenario that I remember.
the world works. Look at them, bro. They're feral. Jesus. Oh.
Also, I wonder if he would apply the same standard when it comes to ICE or the police, right? If someone was antagonizing the police or ICE and like they were just attacking them or some shit like that afterwards, I wonder how he would analyze that situation. Would he just give them a pass for, I don't know, like answering to that antagonization, or would he keep the principles consistent? Because I'm not even sure. I don't even think he would keep that principle consistent. I really don't think so. I truly do not think that's going to be the case. But... Quack, quack, you haven't quacked. Have a great day. Oh, thank you. Quack, quack.
They're wild animals. You pussy? No, I'm not a pussy. I mean, again, if...
Like for example, if somebody from this police line just suddenly started jumping forward to attack the protesters, I wonder what Asmongold will say. Actually, he'll probably be against the police who like acted out, right? But when everything is a mess and they're not in alignment and like there is no police line or anything like that, and it's just like a total mess, like how will he determine that, right? Then that becomes a lot more
if you think that's a good way of doing things, then just expect that whenever somebody feels like it, they're just going to shoot you. The problem...
Okay, all right, well, pretty hypocritical for you to say, but...
a lot of people that like the idea of violence don't understand violence.
Oh, okay, again, all right, I don't think he realizes that he is the one that's saying this.
So, I do. I've seen a lot of it... It's secondhand.
You've seen a lot of violence in your World of Warcraft games. I'm sorry, but World of Warcraft doesn't count, bro. This might be a hot take, but I think World of Warcraft does not count in terms of witnessing secondhand violence, okay? This is just a... Listen, okay? This is just a hot take, okay?
And I've seen some of it first. I've seen the effects of it firsthand. My dad had to live his entire life on painkillers because he got in fights. He couldn't move his neck and...
What? Like, did someone, like, fucking bang crack his spine? Or some shit? Like, was someone's biggest bang was just, like, fucking cracking him with over the knee? Like, what?
Certain ways. He had all kinds of different issues. He was constantly in pain for his whole life. And also, like, I went to a school where people ended up, like, getting killed. Whenever, like, let's say you get in a fight, right? You get in a fight with somebody, it's like one-on-one. You get in a fight. Well, then that person is going to come back with their friends, and then they're going to really beat you up. And then what happens after that?
Last month, I saw old VOD of Asmon watching you crash out. Oh, yeah, that's his video on me, okay.
Well, then next time that person and his friends pull up, you bring a gun, and then you shoot them, and then they die. That's what happens. So the problem with violence is that it has a propensity to escalate very, very quickly. And even if you win the war, or sorry, even if you win the battle, you might not necessarily win the war. And so
What the fuck? Wait, what are we talking about? Are we talking about like a scenario where people are like fist fighting, or are we talking about wait, what is he even talking about? You're right. When I get in fisticuffs with little Timmy over my stolen pencils, I may have won. I may have won the battle. I may have won the battle in terms of like beating this kid to death. Okay, but I have not won the war because my heart has called for vengeance, and I have given in to the worst parts of myself. Like, what are we talking? Like, what are we talking about? Like, Jesus. Top right, holy. What, the enemy?
that's what happens. And at classic escalation, yeah, it's called getting back. Exactly. And it just keeps escalating. And check him out his message. I don't want to look at it. And
Every streamer seems to come from a hella rough neighborhood. No, that's not the case at all. Wait, what? No, I am pretty sure this is only like Asmongold. Like Vosh did not come from a violent neighborhood, right? He grew up in Beverly Hills. I didn't come from a rough neighborhood. I grew up in upper class suburban places. Like it's not. Yeah. No.
protesting an event for a guy that got killed by violence.
I think they were sarcastic. Oh, sorry. Oh, sorry. I
Their
assumed
side,
that
I
you
would
weren't.
expect physical response. Remember the emotions Charlie Kirk got murdered? The right was on the verge of returning in the same way? Yeah, and I think that's what happened. The people cheered when Charlie died? Well, they would. But what I'm saying is that the reason why this is allowed to happen is because the violence is very one-sided. The moment that you actually let people start fighting, you're going to see everybody that's freaking out. Like, if you actually let these people fight each other, it would be absolute chaos and people would be terrified because you'd see people dying constantly. It would be horrible. And the point that I'm making is that when you allow violence and you allow like a big group of people to be aggressive and to, you know, push this aggression onto other people, what you're doing is you're beginning that cycle of violence. And
What? Okay, there's no way I'm hearing it from this guy. What? Dude, is this not the same guy who was all about like framing protesters and getting them arrested and put in prison, even though you had to fake evidence? This is not the same person, right? Like, wouldn't that start a fight? If you're trying to arrest people without reason, wouldn't that start like fucking battles to the death? Like, okay, all right, whatever, man. Spit your shit, king.
whenever you begin that cycle of violence, the conclusion of it is death. That is the conclusion, because somebody will eventually bring a gun, somebody will eventually use a weapon, and somebody will eventually die. And then after that happens, now it's just trading that back and forth. So they're so aggressive. Yes, they are. And that's what happens. So you never, ever, ever want to have anything turn violent, because as soon as things turn violent, people die.
What? You're right. Asmongold, I'm sorry, I did not understand your game, okay? You are truly the most pacifist, most non-violent person I have ever known. Truly, I could never ever find any kind of video or any kind of stream where you did not advocate for the right wing to use violence. Surely, I will not see any kind of escalatory rhetoric after Charlie Kirk's shooting of you on Twitter advocating for violence. Surely not, okay? Listen, okay, he's a pure soul, alright? He'll never do anything wrong, okay? It's fucking Asmongold, the pacifist, okay? Emphasis on fist.
It's that simple. You know, you need to bring a gun? Well, I don't know. They get so emotionally offended when they lose a fight, use guns later. That's definitely a go to a mental institute. No, it's not. Why? I mean, like, and here's the mindset, right? So somebody beats you up with their friends. Why wouldn't you want to kill them? Really? Why, like, let's say you're a psychopath.
Wait, hold on. Can't this apply back at Asmongold? Why was he saying, oh yeah, don't be surprised if like the right was gonna go and kill and like do violence against like the left after Charlie Kirk, right? I feel like he's just But he literally escalates the rhetoric. He doesn't tell everyone to calm down. He doesn't tell the right to calm down after Charlie Kirk's assassination, right? He doesn't say any of that. Like he just openly fucking says like, "Oh yeah, don't be surprised, don't be surprised, don't be surprised." Well, I mean, it just sounds like you're okay with people doing that. Like that's it. Like you might as well just concede on that.
Why wouldn't you want to just go kill that person? If you thought
like it's just completely opposite of
that you
whatever
could get away with it, why wouldn't you just go kill them? That's the way that we've done things for thousands of years. What do you think happened for the last 5,000 years? What?
Well, I mean that's a good question. But then again, all right, he's not. I think he knows. I think Asmongold knows he's being hypocritical. Like because I don't think Asmongold is a dumbass. Okay, I'm sorry, but I think Asmongold is a real dumbass because I remember when the first Miskiff drama dropped about Adriana Lee. I think Asmongold was like one of the most smartest inquirers like in that drama. I can't imagine like that same Asmongold being in this position and like not really getting anything. Yeah, I don't know. Like this is like it's like he turns his brain cells down on purpose every single time he wants to engage with politics. It's like, oh my god.
Like, are you guys crazy?
Asmon's a dumbass. I understand. Okay, he's very dumb. Okay, but he does it. He is a dumbass on purpose. It's like he automatically becomes a dumbass when it comes to political situations, but when it comes to drama, when it comes to like the nuances of drama, it seems as though like he restores his like he reboots his computer, but then the moment he covers politics, it's like he's throttling his mind, you know?
Yeah, because you won't get away with it. Exactly. That's my whole point. That's the reason why you need to have accountability. The reason why they don't do it is because there is a tremendous...
Wait, hold on. So I'm sure that Asmongold would agree with punishing January 6 protesters, right? Oh, no, I'm sure he would agree with that. I'm sure he would, because he was against January 6, right? And he's been consistent on this, I think. So he's been against January 6. Wait, hold on. But did he ever talk about Trump pardoning them? Has Asmongold ever talked about Trump pardoning the January 6 protesters and the conspirators? Wait. Has he? I haven't been following Asmongold too closely as I have done in the past. I follow Asmongold way more closely the beginning of this year than versus the right now where I am.
An extreme consequence. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Yeah. This is just what it is. People did for far less. Exactly. Yeah. You don't need to be a psycho to want that. Sure. People live in a bubble. They forget how bad it could get. Yes. It's just people are so delusional. It's sad. It really is. I think that people...
She is way too hypersexualized. Holy shit. I mean, obviously, this game is like a gooner game in a way, but I love the gameplay. I hate the gooning part of it, okay? The gooning part is too much. Alright? I would prefer if female characters look cool instead of, like, I don't know, overly sexual. But you know what? It's something that I just have to kind of contend with. It's like whatever, you know? But... but like other characters is fine, whatever. All right, but she is way too much. Okay, oh my god, Jesus
live
Christ.
in such a padded world that they don't realize how fast it can turn bad. It'll take no time at all. Oh. Look what happened with ISIS? Yeah, they don't understand how bad it would have been.
Love the gameplay, but the character design is something. Also, like they make moaning sounds and like do like faces, facial expressions. It's like it's very clear. It's like a gooner game. It's like
absolutely.
But the gameplay is so good. The gameplay is so good. How could you? Whatever, man. You know. Really? I'm just here for the gameplay, okay? And the animations, not the gooner animations, but the other animations that are not the gooner animations.
Yeah, the big issue is the violence. Protesting is fine. I don't really think this is a big deal, but the violence has to stop. A melee broke.
Oh, say the line, okay? The violence has to stop. Yes, go on. Go on. The violence has to stop if right-wing militia... Okay, stop.
Out between militants. Okay, let's see. Let's see how this started.
It is not enough to say fuck fascism when we don't tell why we need it.
See, this guy's taking their stuff. He's throwing their stuff around.
Okay, this is it.
Guys, that's exactly what they want. That's exactly what they want.
Oh, it didn't even show it. Yeah, it didn't even show how it started, so it's hard to say. But either way, look at these freaks. Yeah, I guess so. These people never watch Live Leak and people getting pink misted by jihadists and shit. Yeah, I know. And
No, watching live leaks means nothing. What, dude? What? What is he like? What are they even talking about, bro? Does watching live leak prevent you from engaging in? Dude, what? What? What is he talking about? He's not even trying anymore. I feel like Asmongold is not even trying. I don't get it. Like, dude, it's the generation that grew up with live leaks that has been doing this violence, bro. It's the generation that literally grew up with live leaks, okay? Like, I'm sorry, but this is that generation that grew up with live leaks that is doing this violence. I'm sorry to break it to you.
it's sad to see, but yeah, I
Okay.
see something like this happen, and it's really not that big of a surprise. I think that to the extent that you let stuff like this happen, it will happen, and it will just keep getting worse. So yeah.
Why did Asma have some lazy takes? No, it's because he's trying to follow the most critical way of like engaging with everything. Is that you want to go to like the most like, he wants to be most critical for the right wing. Like that's the way that I kind of view Asmongold right now. Is that he wants to give like the most low quality, the low quality commentary slop. So then you don't even need to think about it. You don't need to think about the nuances of a situation. You just plug and play. Okay, even if it means him being hypocritical. Also, Asmongold is receiving more money than ever. He gets at least $1 million in ad revenue alone every month. Okay, $1 million in at least in ad revenue every month. That does not count donations. That doesn't count memberships. That doesn't count any other means of acquiring money in any kind of way. Okay, I'm just talking about ad revenue alone. Okay. Yeah. At some point, collecting money off of like grifting off of right wing politics just becomes like a high score, right? You want to compete with your friends to see how much of a high score you can get, because it doesn't look like he's spending that money in any way, right? He isn't hiring anybody to like handle finances or the house for him, even though by that point it should be like encouraged to do something like that because you can put money back into the economy that way, and you stimulate capitalism by doing that. However, it just seems as though that's not like none of that is actually happening. So he's just hoarding money like a fucking dragon.